Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg, we just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagined big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, 1 family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit Breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
You don't have to understand the physics of flying to fly easy. Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport.
Hi. For many years, I had to make tough decisions for my team and players. The decision for you is quite simple. If you have a house that is in need of repair, call my friend Dale. Dale buy houses. Recently, I spoke with Dale about my property. He gave me all of the do's and don'ts. He wanted me to be smart about the decision I was going to make. You ought to be smart too. Call Dale. He buy houses.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill. Coach, let's start this week talking about the Jaguars. Rebounding from a tough start early in the season, come up short against Alcorn, however, in the championship.
Yeah, I really like the fact that they came up, started slow, and they got well. And then they lost to Alcorn at homecoming, but made adjustment and won out, beat Grambling in the Bayou Classic until they lost their quarterback in the championship game versus Alcorn. I thought they had a chance to win.
And despite coming up short, it was a vast improvement over how we played them for homecoming.
Oh, and that's the mark of a good coach and a good coaching staff, because they made adjustment. They put the kids in position where they could enjoy success.
Well, let's roll highlights from this past weekend's Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship between the Jaguars and the Braves. Despite the outcome, though, Coach, the future looks pretty bright for the Jags. They only lose 9 seniors, 4 of whom are starters, and none of them on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, that's even better. The one thing that I want to caution people at Southern and the people to know that Southern is in a different situation than many other schools in that Southern can't go and bring in junior college because we don't have a course where junior college players can fit their courses into.
Right.
So they can't get those junior college players. Maybe 1 or 2 every now and then.
Right.
And then out of state, with them giving partial scholarship, they have to pay $10,000 more. There are a lot of information people don't know.
Right.
Why Coach Odom is having a short stick to work with. But I admire him because he's done a great job with what he had to work with.
Coach Odom's called Alcorn's quarterback the best player in our conference, and he played that way, didn't he?
Well, he certainly did, and I tell you, Coach Odom is a straight shooter. You need straight shooters because there are fans out there who want to hear the truth and not be fabricated with lies and things that are not true.
With the full year now to get healthy, and maybe more important, learn the playbook more, Ladarius Skelton has the chance to be something pretty special at quarterback, doesn't he?
He really does, and the fact that in this league, like many other leagues, no one is prepared to stop the option because people don't play against that many anymore. So he's in a really good situation and could help Southern be successful.
The running game for Southern was very encouraging as well. The first team, Jaguars, to rush for over 100 yards against Alcorn all season. That says a lot about the running game.
Yeah, a running game, the option, and a skeleton. I think there's so much when you look at it, Clarence, that people have to be happy about going forward.
As disappointing as the loss was, this is one of those times where, as SWAC fans, we got to suck it up and pull for Alcorn in the Celebration Bowl, right?
You better pull for them. But, that's a really good question here. And, I think Alcorn has a legitimate chance to win in that bowl game.
And how important is it that the SWAC top the MEAC to be able to take advantage of the limited recruiting opportunities and the fan base out there?
Well, I don't think it's the end of the world if they don't win.
Right.
But it's important that you always want to win because it carries a little more flavor as you go into the homes of kids trying to recruit them.
You talked about the SWAC. The SWAC Hall of Fame recently had a big event that you happen to be a part of, right?
Yeah, I want to give kudos to Charles McClellan, the new SWAC commissioner. He really understands what class is about and doing things the right way. My thing has always been, if you're going to do something, you have to do it right. And he did it right, Clarence.
Well done, well done. When we come back, we will head across town, talk a little LSU football when the Roger Cador Show continues. Stay close.
Hi. For many years, I had to make tough decisions for my team and players. The decision for you is quite simple. If you have a house that is in need of repair, call my friend Dale. Dale buy houses. Recently, I spoke with Dale about my property. He gave me all of the do's and don'ts. He wanted me to be smart about the decision I was going to make. You ought to be smart too. Call Dale. He buy houses.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagine big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, one family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
You don't have to understand the physics of flying to fly easy. Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport.
My name is Dr. Ashley Blanche, chiropractic physician at Momentum Chiropractic and Sports Rehab. We are here to get you better faster if you suffer from any type of injury, ranging from sprain and strain injuries to nerve pain. If you have an injury and you have a question about it or want us to evaluate you, please give us a call at 225-218-6126, or you can visit our website, mymomentumcare.com, for more information about our services.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg, we just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Beep, beep. He needed now.
Welcome back for segment 2 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, let's head across town. LSU rewarded for a great season, invitation to the Fiesta Bowl against UCF. Considering no one thought this team would do anything, this just goes to show you what can be done when you block out all the naysayers.
Well, the naysayers are a problem if you listen to them, because people are generally negative, Clarence.
Right.
When you look at it and they think negative, you know. So that's why people who can energizing positive thinking into people, usually have a better situation. LSU have done a really good job in a very difficult conference.
Without a doubt.
Obviously, they should have beaten Texas A&M if anything had gone their way.
Right.
And they lost a tough one to Florida.
Which
The
is
only
a
winnable game, and the only game is Alabama. So you look at what they have done this year. Not a lot of people gave them an opportunity or credit or a chance to be in that situation.
Speaking of not giving credit, some people say UCF has everything to win, nothing to lose. I mean, you're David versus Goliath. You're going in without your starting quarterback, potentially a career-ending injury. But all this being said, it still shouldn't be too hard to get LSU motivated for a New Year's Day bowl, right?
No, I think they'll be okay because they played an undefeated team, and they need to be successful in that bowl game. They need to win to save not losing 4 games within the season. So I really think that they'll be prepared to play.
I found it somewhat interesting that some fans are not happy with cornerback Greedy Williams for his decision to skip the Fiesta Bowl and declare for the NFL draft. What do you say to people that hold that against a young man like Greedy Williams?
Try and be Greedy Williams in this situation.
Good point.
Hey, listen here. You got to look at it. That kid has given LSU 3 good years. You got to take what he's given you. The bowl games on the end of the world.
Right.
And this is one of the things, the information his agent is giving him. It's telling him, skip this, prepare for the NFL draft, work out and draft.
Right.
I mean, that's what they do. So, I mean, we've got to get ready. Now, unless you're playing for the national championship game, expect more and more players to do what he did.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, star linebacker Devin White, expected also to be a high first-round draft pick, says he plans to play because he's got some, quote, business to handle. You got to love a kid like that also, Coach.
And then it's an individual thing, and I tell you, you have to admire White and for thinking that way, but let's face it, it is an individual thing with decision when it comes to that.
So what does your heart tell you? Will LSU be playing more for the SEC to hold up their honor, if you will, against UCF, or are they playing more for LSU, or does it kind of balance out for both?
They're playing to satisfy the fans. The fans, Clarence. They're the one that's on their back for everything that they don't do right.
Right.
And you have to please the fan because they're the money people.
Well, you got a point there, and money talks, and we know what they say about the rest of it. But you got to be happy for your boy Bebe to see the Tigers land a New Year's Day bowl, Coach.
But yeah, I'm very happy for him because, again, the difficulties going into the season, the negative associated with him being the head coach, and people doubted whether or not he's legitimate.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's legitimate because he plays in the toughest conference in the whole USA.
Yep.
And I think that he's done extremely well and got his players to play up. So any fans that question whether or not he's a good coach don't know what they're talking about.
And you did that without the star power of a Leonard Fournette or Darius Geis, and you overcame a ton of injuries as well.
Oh, yeah, and the fact that, let's face it, he beat one of the 2 top coaches in the whole league in Smart, Kirby Smart at Georgia, and they were talking about Georgia being one of the teams to play
That's right.
for the championship. So let's face it, it is what it is. The SEC is what it is. We've just better start accepting the fact that it's the toughest conference in all of the USA.
It seems like Coach O is one of those folks that just has that knack for getting the most out of players, getting them to believe in themselves when no one else does. Is that one of his strongest characteristics?
When they hear his voice, this is Coach O. You play hard. You play for your family, your school, and your country.
Yeah.
So there it is, Coach O. Keep it up.
When we come back, we'll talk a little NFL football when the Roger Cador Show continues. Stay close.
have to understand the physics of flying to fly easy. Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport.
Hi. For many years, I had to make tough decisions for my team and players. The decision for you is quite simple. If you have a house that is in need of repair, call my friend Dale. Dale buy houses. Recently, I spoke with Dale about my property. He gave me all of the do's and don'ts. He wanted me to be smart about the decision I was going to make. You ought to be smart too. Call Dale. He buy houses. Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg, we just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagine big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, 1 family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit Breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
Welcome back for segment 3 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, finally happened. Finally happened.
What?
Saw the Saints winning streak right down the tubes. And quite frankly, it was clear from the very beginning of that game the Saints were going to be in for a long night against the Cowboys.
Well, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine and I explained to him the Saints playing the second Thursday night game out of 3 games. Mm-hmm. And you got a 39-year-old quarterback.
Right.
I said, you could expect that because the preparation time ain't there. Mm-hmm. When you get older, you need the preparation time.
Wait a minute now. You're the one that always tells me, Clarence, these are professionals, and this is their job, and it's their livelihood. Didn't look like it on Thursday night, Coach.
Well, it is their job, and it is their livelihood. But when you play that many games without that regular preparation time,
right,
older players seem to struggle more. It's got a history of that. Yeah. And I think that's what happened with Drew Brees. He just didn't have that extra 2 days to prepare.
Of course, now, if you're going to have a letdown, now would be the time to do it, right?
Say that again?
If you're going to have that letdown, this is the time to do it, right?
You never want to have a letdown because, but obviously, it's the time to do it while you have games left to make up. And you hope that somebody knock off the Rams.
Yeah.
Because, and then, you know, the Rams are playing very good, but I still think that when they go on the road somewhere, someone will knock them off.
Yeah. Now, if there's anybody on the planet that can get your attention after a loss, going on 10-game winning streak, got to think Sean Payton is that man.
He is, and it goes to show you how tough it is in the NFL to go undefeated. Mm-hmm. What Miami did in '72 is literally because the players are different now. It's more talent in there, and they played a shorter schedule when they played. So let's face it, it's a tough thing to do to go undefeated and lose just 1 game. Right. It's just the talents are so good. Professionally, it's just so difficult. Mm-hmm.
For me, just as the casual fan, the loss was one thing, but losing control of your own destiny as far as it relates to home field advantage, that's pretty huge, Coach.
Well, for now, but it's not. They haven't totally lost it.
True. It's just
temporary.
Not in their hands anymore.
Right. Well, it's still in their hand. They just got to keep winning, and somebody will knock the Rams off. Trust me.
All right.
It's so difficult.
Where you heard it first.
Oh, you heard it from me, Marty.
All right. So, how big is the bullseye on the Saints' back now that the word is out? Hey, they can be beaten. How much larger is that bullseye now?
Anytime you get beaten in the NFL, the bullseye gets bigger. Mm-hmm. Because the other team, remember, when people are able to conquer something, it becomes easier for the next person to conquer it. That's just a psychological barrier that exists.
And of course, it's also on the other side of that coin. This is when you find out what you're really made of. It
is really. That's what good teams find out what they're made out of. I think the Saints now will be getting back Davenport, their defensive end, and they'll get some people back. And those extra days rest, not having to play on Sunday, they'll have extra days to recruit and be ready for next Sunday. 10 days means a lot in the NFL.
Unfortunately, though, you have sandwiched in there 3 division games. End of the season, you got 2 with Carolina, 1 with Tampa. That's a whole lot of monkey that could pop up in the wrench before all is said and done, Coach.
Let me tell you, divisional games are the toughest. People may not realize it's just like playing conference games. Teams are more riled up to play you. It's a pride thing. So the Saints do have a tough and that means they got to go on the road. A couple more times. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens.
It is what it is, and it will be what it will be. When we come back, we will wrap up this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Ashley Blanche, chiropractic physician at Momentum Chiropractic and Sports Rehab. We are here to get you better faster if you suffer from any type of injury ranging from sprain and strain injuries to nerve pain. If you have an injury and you have a question about it or want us to evaluate you, please give us a call at 225-218-6126, or you can visit our website, mymomentumcare.com, for more information about our services.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagine big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, 1 family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit Breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
Hi. For many years, I had to make tough decisions for my team and players. The decision for you is quite simple. If you have a house that is in need of repair, call my friend Dale. Dale buy houses. Recently, I spoke with Dale about my property. He gave me all of the do's and don'ts. He wanted me to be smart about the decision I was going to make. You ought to be smart too. Call Dale. He buy houses.
You don't have to understand the physics of flying to fly easy. Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport.
Welcome back for the final segment of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, on another note, very seldom, if ever, do we sing the praises of the Alabama Crimson Tide. But you got to tip your hat to the likes of Jalen Hurts for the class that he showed after having the starting job yanked from under him. Didn't spend a whole lot of time moping and griping and complaining. Made sure he was ready. When his number was called again, he was up to snuff, stepped in, did his thing. That's a class act, Coach.
Clarence, we don't see that much of that attitude in amateur or professional athletes anymore.
Yeah.
What Jalen Hurts did was just so beautiful for the number of people who want to be like him.
Right.
I'm sure the numbers are not very large, but there is a small minority of people who would love to be like Jalen Hurd. Because you know what? It's hard for people to take away from you what you deserve.
Yeah.
He deserved that opportunity and he got it.
Why don't more people aspire to be like that? What does your heart tell you?
Well, because it's all about me first. Me, number one.
Yeah.
When you're number 40, I'm number one.
Yeah. But it also means you have a lot more character when you go through things like that, because you're molded and you're shaped by forces greater than yourself, right?
Yeah, I agree, but that's not what we live by, the motto in USA. We are just in a different mindset, and it's been detrimental to so many people because they leave situations that is protected for to go in a worse situation.
Yeah. On the local scene here, we still have 4 Baton Rouge area teams that are in the hunt for a state championship in football: Catholic High, U High, Zachary High, and Ascension Catholic. Says a lot about the caliber of high school football in this area.
Oh, it says a lot, and I'm happy for all of those teams. We're hoping that they can be victorious and get to the dome.
And of course, that means with football starting to wind down now, Southern's season done. Saints still with about 4 games left. LSU only 1 left. It's time people start getting out and supporting the local hoops, high school, Southern, LSU, and the women, right?
Oh yeah, let's go out and support them because it's very much needed, because our young people need support, because those who are doing what they do at these very universities need your support because they're staying out of trouble, an example for the community.
And in 30 seconds, folks that hadn't been out here to scoreboards yet to check out the food and the atmosphere, what are they missing, Coach?
Oh, they're missing a lot. The food is great, the atmosphere is great. I think it's a secret. You ought to take advantage of it. Come and see it.
You can come and enjoy it, but if you tell anybody, well, Coach will have to send some people out to talk to you about it. On behalf of the coach and, of course, our entire crew, the gang here at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill, I'm Clarence Buggs. We'll see you next week with another edition of the Roger Cador Show. See you then.